Hello again, everyone. Todd Michael Putnam from D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing you another adventure table idea. And this one is Rural Town Adventures. Rural Town Adventures. And the idea behind this is, I know a lot of people in 5th edition D&D, they just skip first through second level and they just start their characters off at third level. But I think there's a lot of fun and drama that can be found in levels 1 and 2, to be honest with you. I actually enjoy starting playing in the lower levels. I guess in some ways it reminds me of the old D&D Basic Edition when I first started way back in the day when dwarf was a class, not just a race. But in any event, I enjoy the lower levels. I think there's a lot of fun and drama to be had. The downside to them is people are like, oh, I get tired of goblins. I get tired of kobolds and stuff. So, okay, it's going to be a dungeon adventure, or it's going to be in a big city or something. The idea behind this is to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and have a rural town type adventure, where you're kind of out in medieval Timbuktu, Kentucky, if you will, just someplace that's far from the centers of commerce and things like that. And they're small town heroes and they're trying to work their way up. And so the kind of problems that you would face when you're dealing with individuals who the farmers are the kings and queens of their land. They're sovereign over it. They have a strict hand on the way they do things, the way their family has done things for generations on end. And they just handle things the way that they do. But they also have challenges that they need help with. And so instead of, goblins or whatever, what kind of adventures would be in a rural type setting? So that's the idea behind this. So you can see I got my adventurers here at the crossroads themselves of the town. There they are. And what kind of adventures could there be? Well, let's go through. If we come up over this way here, I've got a giant bullfrog that's sitting in the center pond. And maybe that bullfrog, after they talk to some of the farmers, at night, it turns out he's been actually eating some of the chickens. Yes, those are actual chicken minis. You can get those from WizKids, by the way, from one of their farm accessory sets. But so the farmer might complain that somebody's been stealing his chickens or whatever it is, but it turns out it's not the farmer. It's not one of the co-farmers that's doing it. It's actually this giant bullfrog that's eating them up at night. But of course, this farmer here who owns them, he's probably going to end up blaming this farmer over here, his next door poorer neighbor, who can't afford chickens and goats and cows and stuff. All he's got is a few pigs. And so this farmer gets blamed by his neighbor for the disappearance of his chickens. So of course there's some role play where you have to go in and talk to the farmer, and what's he gonna say? Well, no, I'm not stealing anybody's chickens, I'm not killing them, but he blames the other farmer, saying that somebody's been stealing some of his pigs now and then, and killing them. Well, it turns out that neither one is doing it to the other. The first one is the giant bullfrog is the one that's actually at night hopping over and helping himself out to the chickens. And maybe totally unrelated, there's a bear that shows up. If the players lie in wait long enough, they'll find that there's a bear that comes over and makes short work of a good pork meal. And so they have to wait, see what actually happens at night, and then they discover it's in a bear. And do they scare it off? Do they just tell the farmer that's what's going on? Do they kill the bear to prove it? How do they want to handle that? So, and that would be a feud dispute between these two farmers, which in rural type areas can be quite legendary. Think of Hatfields and McCoy, of course. Where that was a legendary dispute that went on for a family generation. So there's that kind of a role play thing that could happen there. There could be farmers here that are saying, well, that one of their kids were killed, and they want to know who did it, and they just found him dead in the field one night. And after a long investigation or whatever, it turns out that his scarecrow has become enchanted. He had so much anger, this farmer, at his crops being stolen or ruined in the past, that he created this scarecrow, and he infused it with so much of his own frustration and anger that it became enchanted, and it became hyper protective of the gardens. And at night, when his own son went out in order to steal some strawberries or to steal some food or whatever it is, the scarecrow came to life and actually killed his own son. And so during the investigation, if they go out at night and stuff and they're checking it out, the scarecrow will come to life, and they'll determine oh, this is what caused the problem, and then they can bring it back to the farmer and say, your son was killed by your own scarecrow, and here's the body of it to prove it, or whatever. What other kind of things could happen? Well, over here, there could be a farmer who gets tired of having bees that are showing up, and he keeps knocking down the giant bees nests that are up there. But the problem is that the bees nest is in a tree that's actually inhabited by a dryad. Pardon my hands for the shaky camera work there. The tree is inhabited by a dryad, and the dryad loves the bees. And so every time the farmer knocks it down, the dryad attracts more bees and tries to build it back up again. But she's too scared to confront the farmer himself, because she's afraid he'll just cut down her tree and kill her. So she just keeps going back at it and trying to attract more bees and stuff, because she enjoys the companionship of it. So the players would have to talk with her and figure out some kind of a compromise, and see if they could let the farmer know that that's what's going on, and that she'll keep her word to keep the bees away from him if he refuses to knock down the tree anymore, or I should say knock down the beehive anymore. So there's another type of rural adventure that you could have. And then of course you can have some of your more traditional stuff. Maybe some of the pigs and stuff that are disappearing are because there's this giant bird of prey that's up in the rocks by the old cave system, and he comes swooping down during the day, and the farmers know that he's there, but they're not able to get to him, so the players are going to have to go up to his nest and hunt him down and either scare him away or destroy the nest, or kill the giant bird of prey who's carrying off their small goats or small pigs and things of that nature. And if they go into the cave itself, they might find there could be swarms of bats in there that aren't a nuisance to anybody, but the players are going to have to deal with it in order to go on through to the next thing. So they get in there, and it's dark, and they get surrounded by bats, and they get all kinds of battering type damage, and they're blinded, and there's maybe some fear checks or whatever it is as they're being swarmed. And later on, one of the players renames himself Bruce Wayne and turns into Batman. Well, I could be off the rails there, but anyway. So bats are a great low-level type of thing that they can come across. And then also further into the cavern, there could be swarms of rats that they have to deal with. That once they kill them or disperse them, maybe they're covering up an old treasure chest and a body of somebody who was trying to hide it there that has gone missing, and the rats killed them and have been slowly eating them. In the meantime, they've also acted as a guard for the treasure chest because it was some family that was trying to hide something where it wouldn't be caught or found by any of their neighbors. And if you go to the other end of the cave, there could be giant wolves with a large warg or a dire wolf or something that's leading the pack that also will go and jump the fence over to this farmer here and maul some of their cattle. This one here didn't make it. There we go. Maul some of their cattle, and so they know that there's some kind of predatory beast out there, and that's why this farmer also ended up sending them to the caves, because they're farmers. They're not equipped to go into the caves and hunt down wild beasts. So the players would come and have to handle that. So that's just some of the ideas for a low-level adventure that you can do in rural type areas that doesn't involve goblins, doesn't involve the usual cadre of things. At least some of them are different. A little bit of mystery, because you can have the family feuds type going on, and the distrust between the farmers and the quote-unquote rich farmers and the poor farmers, and things of that nature. And some of their own materials working against them, like the scarecrow that is magically infused with the farmer's anger and comes to life and ends up killing his own son, or the dryad who's trying to just protect her tree and her friends, the bees, or the big old poor bullfrog who's just having a meal at night. Anything like that you can have for your low-level characters. Lots of opportunity for role play as they discuss with the different farmers' personalities what's going on and what they need. And of course, lots of opportunity for exploration and combat as well. So as for how I put this all together, it's all relatively simple. The trees, bushes, and rocks are all Monster Fight Club. The cavern system over here is all Dwarven Forge. And then these roads, I just got them. They're kind of a rubbery type material. Part of me loves them because they've got like the tracks that are built right into them. And I want to say it's like Man, I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to come back for a second for the roads on that. What the name of it is? It's escaping me, and I'll put it in the video later if I can't remember. These fences I got are from like Napoleonic fences. Believe it or not, Napoleonic fences. I think it's from War Games or something. But anyways, I just did a search for 28 millimeter Napoleonic fence, and I came up with these fences, and those are like perfect little farm fences. The cows and chickens and all that other kind of stuff. And these sets right here and the hay bales and stuff are all from WizKids. They have a couple of different farm sets that I highly recommend. They're fantastic. And then most of the buildings they're either 3D printed or hard foam. So this guy over here is 3D printed. These two right here are hard foam, and they're from zitterdes.com, ziterdes.com. So this one and that one right there. They come unpainted, you have to paint them. And then these guys over here, this one, and I forgot one of the things. You could also have a soothsayer in there or some kind of an oracle or something because you got a funky type house. Those are 3D printed. You can either find the STL files and download them, or I think they're from printable scenery. I want to say they're from printable scenery, but it could be off on that. Or of course you could buy them pre-printed on Etsy or eBay and then just paint them up. So that's basically it. That's everything. Oh, I'm sorry. The pond is also from Monster Fight Club if you're looking for that. So that's it. The battle mat, there's actually two of these side by side, is from WizKids, and that's from their Icons of the Realms Grassland Mats. Icons of the Realm Grassland Mats. And I have two of them side by side. So if you just want to cut it right down the center, I think it's 5 foot by 3 foot is the length of the mat. Is what you're looking at. So there it is. That's my rural town adventures. Please like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed the content, and I will look forward to your comments and see you in the next adventure. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Take care. Bye.